Lasky and Carrie Crowd on the Sports Leader.
Nice to have you back. And,
Marty Lurie.
It's a pleasure to hear Bill Lasky talking about. How are you today?
I'm good, Marty. How are you? Congratulations. A great conversation with Larry Bear. 12 years with the Giants, 20 area. You're a happy man today as well as I am.
Yeah, it feels good, and let everyone know there you're going to, share this pregame show, and I'm glad to have you on and talk some ball with you. So here we are. It's opening day of spring training now. Opening day in the big leagues, one thing. You've been there a bunch of times. Opening day in spring training. What's it like for you?
I tell you what, it's still exciting, putting that uniform on, ready to play a game here, and the umpires come on the field, strike one, ball, out. I mean, all the things that baseball brings to the excitement part of being a player, as well as a coach. Gabe Kapler, his second full year as manager, and all the additions and all the new faces. And it's just that first part, the first step of getting this team united and trying to play a ball game today.
So how different is it doing bullpens? Because you listen to Gabe Kapler, every guy is Cy Young, Juan Marichal, and really every guy's got the greatest this and that. And then all of a sudden you get out on the field and you got to face live hitters. Well, is there that big of a difference?
Well, it is, and especially in a different uniform. Those guys on the other side are trying to fight to make a team, too. It's just like anything in high school or college. When you got that rivalry, you got the opposing team coming out there to try to take your head off, you're just doing the opposite. You're trying to diffuse it, and it starts today. And literally, this bullpen's got so many dynamic arms coming in from all different places. I'm excited to see some of these guys throw. Of course, I'm here in the Bay Area. You're still in Arizona. We can't see this eye to eye yet. The first televised game is Tuesday. But all we can do is wait and listen to John Miller and Dwayne Kuiper tell us how they look.
Well, they look interesting so far.
Here we go.
And I said this on Twitter last night. What Farhan has done is created an alternate farm system by bringing in all these different players, including a couple of trades that he did as well. But so many players who are non-roster players. And it showed that the real farm system just doesn't have the depth at the top to give him the choices of what he needs for relievers and pitchers all year long. So I commend him. I mean, it all of a sudden it dawned on me, he created a whole second farm system of players, and we'll see who sticks.
Boy, Marty, you're 100% correct, and you could even go to the starting rotation with Johnny Cueto and Gosman being the only ones coming back from last year. Of course, Logan Webb in there competing, Connor Menez. But you're absolutely right. Tyler Beatty is out from Tommy John. He's throwing bullpens, but a lot of new faces. And in the bullpen, we get Reyes Morata back, a pitcher that both you and I love to watch pitch. And he's healthy this year, along with some new people in this rotation as well in the bullpen. But you're absolutely right about building a nucleus of new players in the minor leagues, especially at the AAA level. At AAA level, once this team starts selecting who they want, the AAA team is going to be a big league team also.
I mean, let's look at the pitchers today. Connor Menez, you tell me about him. Sam Long, Jay Jackson, Zach Littell, Sam Wolfe, Tyler Sear, who we know in the Bay Area, and Jimmy Sherfy.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Rundown on everyone. Now, if you can't give me a rundown on these, then we know they're obscure.
Well, I got a little bit on all of them, pretty much. You know that. Connor Bennett, I thought, threw the ball real well last year in the short time he was up. And he never came back up. He threw 11 innings, only gave up 3 earned runs. I thought he threw the ball extremely well for the Giants. But then he got back to Sacramento, and they kind of stuck him there. I'm looking for good things out of him. He said in an article that he's fired up. He didn't understand why he didn't come back up because he did
relief,
throw well.
Wasn't he, Bill? He came in relief, and I thought he was
did.
real good.
Yeah, he threw good. And, you're talking about, but when you're looking at Sam Long, here's a lefty that was out of baseball. He throws in the high 90s. Gabe Kapler really liked what he saw. Jay Jackson is another guy. He played with the Brewers 2 years ago. He played in Japan last year. 33 years old, old Marty. But I tell you what, this guy's got a live arm. Jack Littell, he came over from the Twins. One time he was 6-2, 4.5 earned run average in 3 years with the Brewers. Then you go to Sam Wolfe. Sam Wolfe was in AA and AAA with the Giants. Tyler Sears, another guy that's 27 years old. He's got good stuff. He throws the ball well. Jimmy Surfy is.
He had some injuries.
Jimmy Surfy is a guy that
I power surge?
remember when he was with Arizona. He's really interesting because I remember this when he came up with Arizona.
Listen to this stuff.
He pitched really well when he first got there. And when you start looking at it, he was in 11 straight games in 2017 and never gave an earned run. I remember him coming in from the bullpen. He's 29 years old. And overall, his numbers are fantastic. Of course, he got hurt 2019, really didn't pitch much, up and down. And that's a flyer. That's a guy that could possibly fit in. He's that surprise kind of arm. But all these guys today, they're ready to go. And when you got guys that are non-rosters, every pitch, every inning is so, under the microscope. And myself, to Gabe Kepler and Farnham and Scott and all these numbers. And analytics are all going to start today.
Well, we know a lot about the offense. There are a couple in there. Vossler's in there. McCarthy is back. And Wade, we've heard a lot about him. But the rest of them are guys who just have to get in shape. But the pitchers, you're right. The games become interesting to watch the pitchers, and especially some of these who've been in the big leagues before. All right, Bill, we're going to take a break, and Paul White is going to join me. You're going to be back after that with John Shea of the Chronicle, and we're going to move along on our first show here from beautiful Arizona. So sit back, everybody, relax. Bill, we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes.
Talking baseball with Marty Laurie, Bill Lasky, and Kerry Crowley on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
All right, there you go. So we're going to do this at least today. We may not do this all during the season. I'm not going to be using KMBR like this, but you can go and just take the audio of KMBR Live if you want to listen to games. I am going to broadcast the game today, the spring training game, a little later. And during the game, we'll listen to broadcast just so we can hear John and I guess Dwayne. And I will also be commenting throughout. So there you have a little rundown of two important points. I think Marty Lurie is exactly correct. Oh, look, Marty's on the wall now. There's Marty. That's me wearing the championship ring from 2010 that Marty let me wear. Marty is right, I think, about what Farhan's philosophy is here. He has stacked the team and every layer going down to minors with a bunch of competitive players who have little things that have gone wrong for them but show promise. And they're all going to be competing for multiple positions. So the way Marty Lurie described, created a farm league in spring, out of even including the starters of spring training, which is fascinating. I think that's a pretty interesting idea. It's a good analysis if you look at what's actually happened here. We didn't go for the big signings. No Trevor Bauer, no Tatis, no. We didn't throw money at anybody big. The biggest signing we have is the first 3-year signing of Farhan's era, if you will. And that's Tommy Lastella, who's a utility guy, who's going to be moving around the infield and possibly even playing outfield, which is crazy. But when you think about the fact that Brandon Belt is quite old, Crawford is quite old now, and Longoria, I think, is older than both of them, then Lastella becomes the perfect utility man for the circumstance of our veterans. If we can squeeze the last juice out of our veterans and use them to teach the guys who are in between, then we have an opportunity, I think, to do something special, not only in the National League West, but if we hit the playoffs. Now, pitching, as Marty points out, is the other thing. We have two guys, again, resurrected guys, Bill pointed out, in Cueto and Gausman, and then a ton of 60 roster invitees to compete for starting jobs. if we're even going to have starting jobs. It might be that we don't even have starting jobs. Last year, he is the opener for the first time. Gabe Kapler did. So maybe we don't even have a starter. Maybe we have 3 guys who open the first 3 innings. It could be anything. Pitching is changing drastically in the new administration, and Farhan and Gabe are cool with it. And I am not going to kick and scream anymore. I'm going to get on board, and Giants Baseball Corner will be dealing with this like it's cool with us. Let's go. But when Gabe Kapler makes a dumb or bad decision based on what's in the mix and they lose, I'm going to call him Gabe Kaplan. I am, because that's what makes me mad. You picked him, Farhan. Sorry, Mr. Zaidi, you picked him. All right. And actually, both of you guys are younger than me, but whatever. And you're saying you trust him to make these decisions. And that little short season, blast of a season that we saw, like, that's not fair judgment by any means. The fires turning the sky red, the COVID, right when we were starting to cruise, all the problems with it are not, are good reasons not to judge Gabe Kapler, unfairly, right? But this is going to be chaotic. We're going to be talking about the 3-batter rule is going to become extremely important, and I don't think Mr. Kapler showed great awareness of that. You need to be extremely sharp when you're making these changes with a ton of pitchers because of the 3-batter rule. What if they go to the bench and pull up that lefty and you're screwed, Like all these things, or that switch hitter, it's a lot of power. And I don't know how much of it is math. So if a computer is making that decision at that moment, I really wish it was Boch, even though Boch made me nuts. Oh, yeah, we put Boch up on the wall, too. There he is. That's when we were 2010 on the big screen at City Hall. All of us fans there when we first won the thing. This thing keeps cutting out. What's going on here? Is it this? Anyway, this is Giants Baseball Corner. It is the first spring training game of the season. It will be the A's and the Giants, and they're starting just about an hour and a half. And what's going on here? You're listening to KNBR's broadcast. It's Marty Lurie talking baseball here in the morning. Marty Lurie is, of course, a lawyer. He's an incredibly intelligent man who has been in the Bay Area for 25 years. We lost connection, too. Did we lose internet? No, internet's on. Sorry, we lost connection there, so I'm not sure where we are. We don't have the show on anymore either, so let me see if I can get the show back on here. I was just telling you about Marty Lurie. Marty Lurie, you see him there. He's been in the Bay Area for 25 years. He's been with the Giants for 12 years. He came over to the Giants, and the year he came over, we won the World Series for the first time in San Francisco. Shirts that I bought at the park, and I would call into his show and so on. Dude, what is happening here? This is starting to piss me off. Okay, I don't know why things aren't working. Things are not working. This thing is cutting out. This thing is cutting out. I can't hear the show anymore. So I guess I'll continue filling. But Marty came over in 2010, and they won the World Series. So it was kind of hysterical. He was with the A's. Then he comes over, we win. Then we win again 2 years later. That's, of course, my favorite one, when we swept the Tigers without Melky Cabrera. And there you see Sergio Romo, who threw my favorite pitch in the World Series to Miguel Cabrera, who will be going this summer for 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. Triple Crown winner. And he struck about looking because he thought he was going to get the slider, and he gave him the fastball. It's the greatest pitch of that time, in my opinion. It was just too good. So Marty Lurie let me wear the ring. I think that was in 2011 or something at a game. So that's all I ever wanted. Just wanted to wear the ring, And I'm satisfied now as a fan. We can continue to do whatever happens. Doesn't matter anymore. And I don't know if I'm going to get this back, so I'm going to sit here and fill. This is Giants Baseball Corner. I am Karthik Rajan. I forgot I used my MTK handle, but that's more of an art handle. Sometimes if I say MTK, I'm also MTK, but I am Karthik Rajan in the Giants Baseball Corner world. We're using government names. And this is my cutout. I was one of the first ones to do it when we first announced it because I wanted to support the team. I didn't know where COVID was going, and I certainly wanted baseball back. I'm glad we have it. Every photo you see here, I took. Like there's the shot before it got taken that one time. And that's the paper from when Barry hit the homer. And there you have the 2010 and the 2012, and here you have Barry Zito. This is one of my favorite shots of Timmy that I took, his hair flying right into the lean. The sign from the dugout, which now has to be changed. Who's going to change the sign to 26 guys? Because now it's 26 guys. That's a pretty funny, weird thing. That famous sign of ours, 25 guys, one common goal. Okay, well, it looks like this is not going to come back, so I'm going to cut this here, and we'll try to pick it up later during the game. Go Giants! First day of spring training. First game, rather, of spring training. The Giants versus the Angels. That's Mike Trout, folks. Let's see what that brings. That'll be a lot of fun. Today at 5 past 12, well, 5 past 1 in Arizona,